This is the fifth small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti and Gstaad, 1965.
Can you discuss something, sir? Which involves a sudden transformation, a sudden mutation, not a calculated, progressive, directive, change, which is no change at all. Say, for instance, I find myself as a human being caught in so many problems, financial, economic, sexual, emotional, aesthetic, problems. That the more I try to entangle myself out of them, the more I'm enmeshed. The thing gets worse and worse and worse. I'm talking because I've been seeing people going on from that. And so, inevitably, either give it all up as a hopeless job and remain, just completely enmeshed in the problems and no way out, and die. I see all that. And I say to myself, there must be a way or some catalyst, some incident, some happening that will completely revolutionize my whole existence. You follow, sir? And how is it to be done? Because I feel that unless this takes place, little more refinement, little less bourgeoisism, little more intellectual, little bit more kind and gentle, all that rot that goes on, it's utterly valueless. So what am I to do? What, it must be a single act, you follow, sir? A single movement, a single act, a single incident that will completely transform my whole way of life. Not ideologically, all that stuff, but actually.
Well, I think that we must come to the root of all this trouble. I mean, in one act.
Yes, in one act. And that one act break the stem, which can't grow again. The stem of which we were talking yesterday.
Well, it could say there's one stem of all the trouble.
Yes. There may be, or there may not.
There may be one stem.
One stem or several stems.
Yes.
But if I know how to break one stem, I know the whole, it's finished.
Yes, well,
how to be out of it all in a flash?
Not out of it all, right? That's
if we see the structure of one stem in one flash, one act, then the stem can never fool us again.
Yes. So what am I to do? I haven't got too much brain. I'm just taking it, not too intellectual, not violently emotional or passionate. I'm just an ordinary person with good intentions, fairly well read, not too much. I have seen life. I've, all that. I have done all that, and I see the utter futility of churches and leaders and gurus and all that stuff. I throw it all out with one breath. Like putting out birthday candles, you have 40 of them. And with one breath you blow them all out. If you had 70 candles, So what am I to do? So you see, sir, the ancients tackled it by saying practice, meditation, renunciation, leave the family, go to a forest and meditate, or be trained. You follow? The monks of the Buddhist orders, the church monks, the Zen Buddhists, it all involves a gradual time process. And time is the most destructive thing. So what? I see all that. Not the intellectual. It is so. I've blown out all the candles. And now what am I to do? My mind is fairly sharp because I know I've blown the candles. Now what am I to do? Am I to wait for the grace of God? You follow, sir, the church and all that. Which again is such a despairing affair. It might or it might not. Which means that I must have a certain belief, certain background. I don't want any of that. I've blown all the bridges, burned every bridge that's possible. What am I to do? I don't know if it's interesting. Can you guess? You see, I don't want to commit myself to any action. Because I'm communist, socialist, you follow, I don't want to commit myself. Not that I'm frightened of commitment, but I see the futility of it till something happens which will bring about a commitment not to anything. Are we asking impossible questions, sir? Has the question any validity?
Well, clearly you can't state what to do.
No, I think it'll come out. I think it'll come out. But I'm asking myself, has that question a validity? Am I in a position when I have burnt all the bridges, blown all the candles?
Well, let's try to put it that one may have done this on a certain level, but there may be more bridges and candles on a deeper level for all we know.
Wait, sir, wait. If I've blown the candles and blown up the bridges, burnt the bridges. I suppose burnt bridges comes really from the Roman,
Yes.
when they had wooden bridges.
Yes.
Sorry. If I have blown and burnt the bridges at the conscious level, any bridge, any candle that arises, I know what to do.
Yes. Well, let's put it that way. Not only have burnt the bridges, but we have gone much further in the sense of seeing the futility of all the bridges that might come up.
Yes. So don't talk. Don't tell me. Wait till the bridges. There may be unconscious bridges too. I know what to do with them when they come up. That's not a problem to me.
Yes.
I'll burn them out. They won't even have a second chance. Right? So that is not my problem. I mean, it's not a problem. If I know once how to blow the candle and burn the bridges, I will do that whenever it arises without the least hesitation. Finished. But yet, the transformation hasn't taken place. Mutation. Then what am I to do?
Can I discover why not?
Huh?
Can one discover why not?
Can one discover why not? What?
Why
doesn't it happen?
The mutation doesn't
Why
happen.
doesn't it?
nothing happens?
Yes. It may not happen because I really haven't burned bridges.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Yes, I may think I have done it, but actually I haven't done it.
Yes.
But I'm talking of a man, I suppose we shouldn't. A man who says, look, I have done it.
Well, we don't know what would happen to him then.
No, I won't start from there.
Yes.
See,
What?
I want to start from
Start
there.
from a man who really has burnt the bridge.
And now, I understand your question, sir. I understand very well.
Otherwise, we have to go right back and
No,
talk
no,
about bridges and all that.
perfectly right. Have you burnt all your bridges? I'm not asking you personally. Have you burnt all the bridges? Which means an extraordinary action, isn't it?
So you must burn the potentiality
Yes.
for making bridges and
Which,
so
of
on.
course, of course.
Bridges,
of
yeah.
course.
Isn't this looking for mutation also another bridge?
No, I'm just made a question of it. I'm not looking for it. I know that any bridge arises that it can burn away.
Yes.
And I also am aware of an activity that builds bridges, and I know how to stop it. Stop it, you know what I mean? I know. I'm aware the ending of it. So I'm aware not only of burning the bridges after they have risen, but also I'm aware that the building bridges has no momentum.
Yes.
Right? Is that our position?
Well, that's what we have to discover. Right?
That's it. So we'll have to start again. Is that our position?
Well, now it seems to me that there still is a center from which this building activity might start.
What's that?
Well, it's still a very, as it were, kind of a...
Nebulous.
To me it seems very sharp, rather, like a very sensitive point, rather,
Right.
of pleasure. I mean, as if there were some very source of I mean, something which can produce pleasure very...
So let us differentiate pleasure and enjoyment.
Yes, I mean, I differentiated already, you see.
All right. And I don't want to reduce all my life to one pinpoint, which is pleasure. You follow, sir? Pleasure, I know, very simple. I can deal with it so quickly, I know it. I'm talking, well, let's go slowly.
So we ask ourselves if we burnt the bridges. That's
No,
that's the point.
not
where we
only
are.
burnt bridges, but also the builder of bridges.
Is there any possibility for new bridges to
The
arise?
capacity for bridge building. must
Capacity
become-
for bridge building. Wow, we're using a metaphor that we're getting lost in.
Bridges being all the recipes, all the things in time, all the...
Not only that.
Directives.
That's fairly simple. That you can kick it out. But
So it's-
but the desire to not only a pleasure, the desire to be, to become, to achieve, to be, to find real. You follow that desire, that motive, that tremendous urge. You follow?
yes.
And I must retain that urge and not make into bridge building.
Yes, we need the energy of the urge, but
Let's
Yes,
look at that.
yes.
it's going wrong now.
Yes, it's gone into bridge building.
Yes.
Yes.
Joe. Interesting.
But isn't the very nature of bridges that urge, sir?
No, sir. No. I'm the passion to build bridges and the passion that does not build bridges.
Well, this other passion is something that does not, as it were, doesn't try to do anything in particular.
Yes. So let's leave that for the moment out. Then let's take the passion for bridge building. That is what? What do we mean by bridge building?
Well, you see, the way it seemed to me is that this is, as it were, a kind of premature realization of what we really want. I mean, that we want to get it quickly and easily.
Yes.
That, in other words, everybody is reaching for this thing, but we give an appearance of reaching it in something limited.
Yes.
And that's why we want the pleasure, obviously.
No, sir. Do you remember we said the other day, on this side of the line, frustration, thought without frustration and sensitivity. Right? We said that there must be.
Yes.
Right?
Then we said that was not enough, and it didn't seem to be enough.
No, that's not enough.
Yes.
Because I see I can live very, and I'd say it's very exciting. I'm sorry, I must calm down. I'm losing it.
See, we agreed that everybody, it's built into a person that he cannot live in that. You see, that's not enough for him. No, that this pleasure with mere sensitivity and smooth function, without conflict, without effort. You see, that would not be enough.
Yes, that would not be enough.
Because there is an energy which is moving towards something beyond all this.
Yes.
I mean, this is the way I see it. That now, as I see it, that this energy being misunderstood has been the source of man's misery.
Man's misery is building, it is the whole business of that.
Yes.
Right.
Because it is a tremendous energy, and therefore if it goes wrong, it must go very badly wrong.
That's very badly wrong. I've got two problems, sir. One problem is not only in living, thought must function without frustration and maintain the sensitivity. And in that problem, I see that's not good. It's all right. It's like have a very good room, orderly room, beautiful room, but it is not enough.
No.
All right. Then also I see, because it is not enough, the energy builds a bridge which helps me to keep this in order, but that bridge building becomes an illusion. Right?
Yes. Well, what I really think I'm building is that which I'm deeply moving toward.
Yes.
But in
yes.
fact, I'm not.
I'm not. So, in that one keeping order that's involved.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I moved away from it and I see I must burn my bridges. That is, burn my commitments. You understand, sir?
Well, by commitment, you said you mean that my whole being is involved in it. Is that?
Not only in that, in the bridges which I have built,
And that I may build.
I may build, to all those commitments I must not be committed. Am I?
Yes, I mean because they're illusory.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
I'm not committed.
And you see, anything to which you could define as being committed would have to be illusory.
Yes. No, I want to bring it much closer. You see, sir, I can be very model husband, be satisfied with little money, but live a very moral, upright, austere, simple, clear life. I know many people do this, but they miss something. The perfume is gone. I see perfume does not necessarily come to people who live austerely. So, but I also see there must be austerity, right? But that doesn't mean that there is perfume. Right. And because I want to capture the perfume, I get lost. Right?
Yes.
Because I'm passionate in having that perfume.
Well, because I believe it can be captured.
So I build escapes.
Yes.
I move away from, rather, this passion builds these miseries, right? And I see that, I won't. So what am I to do? I've reached a point when I'm very austere, or say in the decent sense of that word, not absurd harshness. And the passion that has come out of this austerity, I'm not building bridges. The passion is there. And the perfume doesn't take place. Huh? Right, sir?
Yes.
What am I to do? Because take a monk, the missionary, or those people who are very passionate in reforming the world.
But still, they haven't done this.
They have no perfume.
No, but they've already directed the passion toward another bridge.
Yes. So I'm just brushing them away too. Then what am I to do? So am I in a position of a man who, for the first time, is walking on a road by himself and discovering? You follow what I mean? Because I have no authority. I have no, somebody said, you're doing very well, go on.
No encouragement, yes.
Huh?
I said no encouragement.
No, not at all. I have no light far ahead which beckons me. I know somebody says, patting me on the shoulder, keep on. So, am I in that position? And I'm completely alone, walking on a road which I don't know, and nobody's going to tell me a thing.
Yes, and also it's no use imagining anything.
That's too childish. Do I ever come to that point? And mustn't I come to that point? If I've really burnt my bridges, if I'm in the right sense of that word austere, not which is harsh and brutally disciplined and suffocated and suppressed, I don't mean any of that. And not committed to any particular kind of activity. The passion which I have, because I have been through that flame of austerity, and therefore the passion is tremendously there. And there is no perfume. And I say to myself, without that, it's not my point, all this. Either I slip back, or I said, now this comes to the point. Or what takes place? I don't stay put. I can't. Do I ever come to that point? I think that's the clue. See, I've finished with comparing, which means the more, all that's involved, right? I've ceased to have any authority. I need knowledge to function, but nowhere else. I have the feeling of affection, sympathy, a sense of goodness to people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I have no feeling of violence because I've cut this stem. And yet this thing doesn't take place.
But how do I know that it can take place?
I don't know. Or it may have taken place and of which I don't know.
No. Yes.
Because I'm still looking at it as an experiencer.
Is that the point when you said, have we come to that point?
Yes,
Is that the point you're stating?
Well,
now. In other words, when you asked a moment ago, have we come to that point?
Yes.
The point is what you just described.
Yes.
We have done the following things.
Yes.
Austerity.
Knowledge,
Yes,
authority,
yes, yes,
comparison,
yes.
Seeking,
Not to look back to.
Being, putting out your hand, trying to find something. And all that has been washed away, like with the rain. With the rain of passion, which has come through all this. If I haven't been through all this, there is no passion. I don't. If I haven't done all this, I'll just fool around. Because the mind has done all these things, from this, a flame has come. But the flame has not got the heat.
Yes, it's only light, you mean to
Yes,
say.
yes, whatever word.
What?
Yeah, whatever word you yes, that's
Yeah.
right. It's only temporal,
What?
explosive thing.
I want to say that some change may occur, but because one is looking for an experience, one doesn't see that it has
Of course,
occurred.
of course. So I say to myself, I've got that point. Because I'm fairly intelligent. I've worked. I know I have watched myself. I've learned a tremendous lot about myself. I have looked at all the secret corners of myself, exposed them and throttled. You follow me? I have done all that work. And I have. It's not just work, words. You follow? It is so. And out of that, passion has come. A tremendous energy. And am I asking, isn't that enough? Huh? Right, sir? Now, can that passion be completely still? I don't know if you're following.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, I say that if it is moving somewhat now, but it doesn't seem to be what you would usually call passion. I mean, you might say it's movement.
A movement. But it must be still.
Yes.
If it is not, still if it is a movement, it is losing energy.
Can we say that? You see, I mean, it's a matter of getting some ideas
Yes,
clear.
quite,
That
quite.
still in movement. You see
Yes.
that the
Yes. So put it on the other way.
yeah.
A complete stillness. Does one know what it means? Huh? That's just it. Because I don't know what that is, there's a movement.
Yes, I mean, if we could clarify one or 2 points. You see,
Yes, sir.
say
Let's go
there is
to it,
complete
then.
stillness, but this is turning, and that seems that is movement. You see.
Yes.
Now, what is the meaning of this turning in the complete stillness? You see, in other words, it seems somehow in the periphery there is movement. You're asking, but there should be a quiet center. I mean, is this wrong?
I'm afraid that's not right.
Yes. You see, I don't understand how we would
So, look, right, let's begin again.
Yes.
Action is movement. I have acted, which was austere. I've acted, no authority. Action has been non-comparative. Action has been without fear. I'm not interested what public say, whether I die, don't die, whether I'm happy, unhappy. You follow? I've acted. The movement has been there in the action, in doing, in purging, cleansing.
That's action.
That is action. That is movement. And out of that movement, out of that action, this thing has arisen. This energy which says, I have nowhere to go. You follow, sir? Before I did. Now it is gathered, and if there is no movement, I don't know if I'm...
It's not going anywhere.
You can't say, you don't say this. There is no action as I knew as movement when I was doing. Right, sir? Or the action which was a negation here my mind has seen all this activity, all the subtle activity, seen the enormous movement of it all. And out of this great activity and movement, it has become very silent. Right?
Well, it's fairly silent.
Huh?
Relatively silent, it seems. Yeah.
No.
I know, but
No, it will become relative only if these actions have had motives, have had purposes, have had an end. But I realize all that. I brushed all those away long ago. I don't get up and talk because it gives me pleasure. Or I want to convert somebody. If all that's finished, blown out. So I'm in a position when I've seen all this and mutation hasn't taken place. I want to come back to that point. Because mutation must be in relation to action, not just mutation in... or a mutation which is action.
which is what?
Which is action. Not a mutation and action.
No, mutation which is
I must have had good sleep last night.
What?
I thought I must have had a good sleep.
No.
Now what do I do, sir? And if you have done it, if I have done it, this. Wipe the slate clean. And in the wiping of the slate clean, I have this energy. And the wiping is the action, which is the movement. So I've finished with that. There is no imagination, there is no illusion, there is no saying, it doesn't mean a thing anymore. And so if one has done that, the mind must come inevitably to be completely still, not relatively. We're not talking of the duration of stillness.
I mean, not a continued stillness.
Yeah. Not
You say-
continuous, no.
There may be a moment of...
You still go to the office and you still...
No, I've finished all that. I
No,
go to the
no.
office, don't let's bother.
But could you be talking about a moment of stillness? Say that we wipe the slate and in that moment it's still.
Yes, we said the wiping of the slate is the action which produces that energy in which there is no movement. All movement is in relation to activity. Here, I have acted, moved, changed, polished, all that, till I have come to the point when there is no movement as action as I knew it. Right, sir? Have I done it? Have I really done this? If I have not, then I can ring the bell forever. You see, sir, I feel a mind that has done this is not only extraordinarily alive, and that aliveness is so full of energy. But it must be still. I don't know if, to me that is essential. It's only a very still mind which has done all the cleaning of the slate and therefore still. From there on, there's something else takes place. I think there is the mutation. I don't know.
I mean, from the still mind.
But no, these things must happen, not the still mind. And this movement and action is not in time.
I mean, the movement which led to the still mind.
Yes, is not in time.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's not a process.
But in some way it seems to have taken time. You say we did it yesterday, you say. And
No. It's this I want. Let's discuss a little bit.
yes. You say, I think there's some difficulty between this chronological time and the time you're talking about.
Yeah. You see, sir, I see austerity. Let's take that as the word and the meaning of and the whole of that, what that word contains. I see that. I understand it completely. And the understanding is the action and the being. Therefore, there is no time involved.
Well, let's say what we did yesterday is not really at issue, but now we are understanding this whole process.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
And so when I first cast my glance over the past, and now I see its meaning now.
No,
I
sir.
see the meaning of all these things.
No, not because I've glanced at the past.
But I mean because of what they are. Right.
No, I don't quite see it.
Now, you see,
I'm trying to find out.
yes, we say that we did all that before, you see. Now this,
Forget the leave yesterday, what we didn't do.
yes,
So, for me, I mean, if I see the meaning of austerity, I'm taking that word. The seeing is the doing and the being. In that, there is no time involved. That is, I don't see, then act, then become or arrive at the state of austerity. It is one movement. I don't know. It's one stroke. In that stroke, there is no time involved. I see the poison, jump away. Finished.
Yes, in the sense that we don't make a plan or project a goal or something. But you see, there's always this confusion that it seems to me that seeing may, for all I know, take some chronological time. But you're saying that
I don't think so, sir.
you don't think so. This is an issue which is not clear to me. You see, this may be the source of the trouble, that perhaps I've made a tacit assumption that whatever happens is taking some chronological time.
Quite. You see, I know. That's why people have invented past lives. You are what you are now because you have lived certain way in the past, whether the past is 10 lives or yesterday.
Yes, you see, now I see, for example, that in this flash of understanding, which is action and seeing at once, there's no visible time, but there's a sort of a feeling there may be some time in it, which I don't see.
Yes.
You see, just as something happens too fast for me to see, but I know that if you watched it more with a
I know
photograph,
this is the most, the immediate is, I know.
so therefore, you see, to say that something exists without time, this really seems to be the question. You see, that I mean, I think it, in one way you can see what you mean when it happens.
Yes.
But there seems to be an idea there which one has to get clear.
Yes, quite.
Because, you see, if I say an explosion has happened with a lightning flash, it was too fast to be seen, but with a faster camera,
Quite.
All right, now, therefore, for all I know, this explosion of understanding might be a process that is too fast to be seen.
Yes, quite right.
Perhaps,
You're quite.
Dave, could it be because this is one of the bridges process for you to the work? I mean, is this
well, no, I think merely it's a deep way of thinking. I think the human race is conditioned to think this way.
Yes, that's right, sir.
It's built into our language, and it's built into our whole experience. You see, we know by experience that if that's turning too fast to be seen, that it can be photographed faster or looked at faster.
But it is really in time, still moving.
It's moving in time. It may look like a fast instant.
But it has taken
time, you see. So now I know often something does happen in my mind which is fast and which did take time. Do you see? There are thought processes that are very fast, but they really do take time. They were too fast to be observed. You see, so now we say...
I understand this very well, sir.
You see, so now here is something else. You see, we mustn't confuse. If there is another process which doesn't take time, there's a tendency to confuse it with something which is very fast.
Yes. Quite.
But which is still the same nature as time.
Yes, time, quite. I'm glad you made... Yes, that's right, sir.
Yes, now... And you see, the whole of scientific thought goes on those channels too, to say that everything takes time.
Quite. Evolution.
Well, not only that, but the atoms and the...
Yes, sir.
It's all moving, some very fast and some slowly, and...
But it's all within time.
It's within one level of time or another, you see. And now, it may seem that to our level the atoms seem timeless, but to another level you can measure how fast they move, you see.
Right.
Now, and of course the whole theory of the mechanism of the brain is the same, to say the nerves take time to operate, you see.
Communicate to...
The nerve, it takes time for a nervous signal to go along, say, I don't know, 100th of a second or it's a 50th or a 10th. A complete nervous signal takes a 10th of a second about to come in and go out, and
But it's still time.
It's time, and that
Quite-
tenth of a
quite-
second is the shortest interval, roughly, that you can distinguish. You see, now there's experiments are done if two flashes are faster than a 50th of a second or so, you don't distinguish them as separate. So you would say to you that appears no time, but the instrument shows there was time, you see.
Quite.
All right, now,
I don't think it is of that nature.
yeah, so that's the question. You see that we must get beyond this very deep idea, which which has so much confirmation.
Confirmation, quite.
And now we know that a flash of understanding is very fast, you see.
Yes, but it may still be in time.
It may be in
At
time.
level, quite. I understand that.
And you see, also scientifically, one would wonder what would be the foundation of something that didn't take time.
Time, quite.
Now, this might require, for all I know, a revolution in science. You see, in other words,
Quite, I understand it.
you see, therefore, you see, you can't simply, all that thought which is in the background will not get out of the way. I mean, it has not been shown why it should get out of the way.
Quite.
You can't arbitrarily throw ideas
Throw it
out,
out, quite.
which you have good reason to believe in.
But it still seems, well, I don't want to go back, but the slide, it's
Yeah.
still in the slide of this functional, isn't it?
This is, sir, I understand that. That's very clear.
You see, what I mean to say there is that I think that in every previous step we have had a perfect logic, so that there was not necessary to say I got to jump or have faith, or to say you're right and I'm going to try to follow you. See, every step went by its own logic. You see, to say it was absolutely necessary, and therefore the thought got out of the way spontaneously because it was intrinsic in the structure of thought that is the case. You see,
Yes.
it was clearly the logical fact that. See, every step on conditioning and on all the whole story you mentioned, all the austerity, see, all that is very logical.
Yes, that's... All that's very logical, all that involves time,
Yes.
and we are saying now there is a moment of where the logic doesn't function.
It doesn't seem to function. Yes, I don't know whether it does or not, but I mean it doesn't seem to.
Seem to function. And that's what we are.
Mm.
Which means, sir, doesn't it? Does time have a stop?
You mean psychological time?
Yeah, time, not chronological.
Any
watch,
kind of time.
This watch can stop, but that watch will go
Yes,
on.
yes. I mean, but there's the chronological and physical time seems to go on without
Yeah.
stop.
Yes,
So you must refer to
yes,
psychological
yes,
time.
yes. Can that have a stop? Or have I carried over the chronological time into that field because it's very convenient for me? I'm very satisfied with that. If I recognize, as I do recognize, there is chronological time, and don't let me carry that chronological time over into the other field. And therefore I ask myself, can time have a stop? So that thought doesn't enter into that field. You follow, sir? Because thought is time.
Thought requires time. Right?
That's right. Thought requires time. thought is time. Now, is there an ending to thought, therefore ending to time?
Which might, you say, seem like a flash.
First, let me inquire that.
Yes,
We're moving logically. Huh?
yes.
Time is thought, and I ask myself to end time, because we have functioned in this time all my life, all the lives of my parents, all generations, and somehow a crazy idea comes to me and I say to myself, thought is time, so can thought come to an end? You follow? Not forced, all that, of course, then it's not an end.
Can thought come to an end of its own accord, you mean?
Yeah, of course, of its own accord, because it sees. It says, let me ask. And I know thought does come to an end.
Well, how do I know it?
I know it. I'm saying I
Yeah,
see it.
You see it.
I see it not as an imagination or I see it actually taking place when I look. The looking is not a thought.
Any looking.
Yeah. When I look at those trees, the thought doesn't interfere.
Yes, well, you see it.
Again,
You turn your head, which takes time.
of course.
Yes, now, but thought, you see, now when you look,
I look at you.
yes,
I look at you. I'm not turning my head or anything. I look at you. As I look, the screen of thought is not. So, at least not as an illusion, because I want some. I see thought doesn't function at this moment when I look. I'm not thinking of you as a professor. Nothing. And therefore there is no gap. I mustn't go into all that. Leave that for the moment.
For most people, doesn't thought immediately start if you look at something?
Of course.
Yes.
Here it hasn't started. So, I say, time does have an end. Stop. Because I have seen right from the beginning, when I look at a flower, I can look at it botanically, with knowledge, with appreciation, with a sense of love, beauty, reaction, wanting, not. You follow what I mean? All that, I've seen all that. And also, because I have seen all the responses and the memories and all that, now I can look at it without all that. Non-botanically, not all that. I can look at it and not say it is a rose.
but you see, suppose I were to say, well, for all I know, I may be doing this too.
Of course.
Yes.
Now, can you and I hold that? The looking without thought, which is looking without time, see if that can remain. Not.
It's very hard to.
Yeah, you
I don't
understand.
quite understand. You see,
No, because if you can look at that flower that way, without thought and therefore without time,
well, could I look? Yes, go ahead.
then look at austerity.
But you see, when you say this looking remains, this creates a difficulty. See,
Cut it out. I meant...
but can I say that in looking without time, when you say it remains, that suggested to me that there would be a certain direct relation that would not involve time, while in another sense, it might be that time was going on while I was doing something.
Of course, there's what's going on.
Yes,
Until
yes.
you have to stop
It's
listening.
another order of time.
It isn't intrinsic to any
Well,
of this.
The what is going on.
What you want to say is that there's, in the relationship, shall we say, between what I'm looking at and me, there is no time. Would you suggest
That's
that?
right. That's right. Because there is no thought interfering. We said thought is time, didn't we? Thought is time. And I look, and there is no thought. Therefore, so there is no time. Though the watch is going on, I have got lunch. Now, because I know how to look at that flower with,
Yes.
without time, without thought, I look at my responses, reflexes, ambitions, greed, without time, without thought. And because I look without thought and without time, out of that there is no effort, therefore there is passion. You get it, sir? What time is it?
What?
What time is it?
It's
20 minutes
just
to
after
1.
half past 12.
My head is telling.
What?
My head is telling. It's time. So if I have no thought and therefore no time, and therefore there is no wasting of energy, therefore there is no movement, therefore there is complete stillness. Is it possible to walk down the street, look at everything, shop windows, people passing, people that are dressed there, without thought, therefore without time, and so walk with silence? Oh, yes, sir, it can be done. Yes, it we've done.
Well, I think, well, I won't say that. I say it can be done.
Of course it can be done. So we have logically gone into it, right? So as you are a scientist, as you are a writer and all the rest of it, you could, put it logically, and every ballet professor will accept it for the rest of their life. You follow what I mean? Not some Asiatic cuckoo. So I think we will stop. And maybe we telephone you. You leave on Monday morning.
Yes.
Because I've got several meetings. Sound gathering, switch this